Hello everyone, welcome to vgsastro. First of all, I want to thank you all for the love and support, the likes, the views, the comments. I'm also overwhelmed by the emails that you people have been sending me out about the transit videos and how it's been pretty dang accurate. I never expected to see these many emails. So a big thank you to all of you. Let's get started with the introduction of Jupiter Transit 2025. By the way, this is one of my favorite transits for the year 2025 because Jupiter is a natural benefic. Even if he is a functionally malefic, he still retains many of his benefic qualities and does some amount of good to everyone regardless of the ascendant. Jupiter enters the sign of Gemini on May 15th, 2025. Gemini is the sign of communication, siblings, short travels, your courage, the effort that you put in. To some extent, this also becomes your habits in general. So, Jupiter transiting the sign of Gemini, it's a wonderful time to take on new initiatives. People would now jump at a chance into public speaking the first opportunity they get. Basically, I also expect good news to be shared amongst people. There's going to be so much positivity among people when they communicate with each other, and that can only mean that there's plenty of good things happening this year. Also, because of its aspect on the natural ninth house, which is in the Sagittarius sign, we're going to see a strengthening of one's own belief system. So many people will find philosophical ruminations fruitful. Many are going to be traveling to holy places, religious places of worship. People are going to be interested in charity, religious deeds, setting foot into higher education, or anything that involves some amount of food for thought kind of study. Gemini is also a sign that governs languages, different languages, including machine languages like Python or Mojo, and that's going to gain a lot of traction in the coming year. The present language row that's happening between the center and the state in India will also hopefully find a settlement as Jupiter transits into Gemini. Of course, it's going to take time, but I'm looking forward for a positive outcome this year. Relationship wise, the relationship with siblings or neighbors is going to be cordial. From its position in Gemini, Jupiter will also aspect the sign of Libra, which is going to open the doors for a lot of creative work in the fields that involve communication with other people. The year is going to be excellent for authors, journalists, people who are in the marketing and sales field, customer service agencies, call centers, hospitality business, hotels, tourism, teachers. All of these people are going to be greatly benefited. They're going to bring a lot of innovation to the table this year. Wonderful, wonderful time for all these people. However, the trade aspects and tariff wars between countries will kind of stay in motion, affecting economy because Jupiter does not really have a friendly aspect on the marketplace in the sign of Libra. But here's the catch. The most beneficial aspect of Jupiter will be on the sign of Aquarius through its ninth aspect. And how is this important? It is the natural 11th house. It is the natural 11th house in the zodiac, and it represents the house of hopes, dreams, and wishes, and also one's income. So despite the economic hurdles, Jupiter is going to open the floodgates to new opportunities, new jobs, newfound hope for everyone to succeed. It's kind of giving a level playing field for everyone to emerge victorious and taste success. However, where Jupiter is functionally malefic, its aspect on the sign of Aquarius will definitely bring its share of challenges and hurdles, no doubt. But then it's not as bad as a natural malefic. So we're going to see a change in the way people conduct their business, and it's going to strengthen the economy in the long run for everyone. All right, that's my introduction. Let's get down to prediction for each ascendant. First off, we have Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign. For Aries ascendants, Jupiter enters the third house of communication, siblings, short travels, and also self-effort. So Jupiter here will give you positive initiatives and things will start working in your favor with minimal effort. You would not have to put so much effort to achieve whatever it is that you plan on setting to achieve this year. However, if you have a malefic planet in the third house of your birth chart, I don't know, maybe like Ketu, then you would probably get pulled into random objectives in life. And although you may have fun chasing an elusive dream of yours, the energy would still by standard reckoning be considered misdirected or misplaced, to say the least. But for most part of this transit, this is going to be super fun for most Aries folks. It's giving you a lot of luck, optimism, and a sunny attitude because of its aspect on the ninth house. But also, you're going to find something to keep yourself engaged throughout Jupiter's stay in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter will also bring major expenses with regards to travel. Expect short and long distance travel. Some of you will take a vacation, maybe go to religious places of worship, have fun with friends and family, that kind of thing. Also, many of you will see money being spent on education as well. Some of you will get enrolled into soft skills training or anything that has to do with communication or learning a new language, including machine language. For more on this, check out my introduction. I've given a detailed account about this. Rest assured, you're hardly going to be bored this year. You'll have so much to do, so many interests, and you would want to have like a bite at everything. I don't know, maybe even start a podcast or do community service or get into teaching or something or learn something new. That's quite possible. And this goes hand in hand because Jupiter is a teacher basically, and he loves to impart knowledge and wisdom to the masses. So, excellent time for both learning as well as teaching for Aries people, depending on your age and stage of life that you're in. People already working as advisors, consultants, lawyers, doctors, journalists will see a good year. With Jupiter's aspect on the 11th house, you will learn a lot about making money this year. Some of your friends will come to your aid at times of difficulty. You will definitely gain from your friendships and network circle. You will also be seeing a good amount of money flow into your life and also see some of your dreams and wishes come true. Jupiter's fifth aspect on the 7th house of romance. 7th house, romance can really take off during this year for Aries people. Your spouse becomes a lot more supportive and willing to spend more time with you, making it an ideal time for you to strengthen your bond with your spouse. However, there could be conflicting situations with regards to partnership and marriage as well, especially where you would see themes like, I'll scratch your back, but if you're not reciprocating, then we'll have a problem kind of situation. You know, that could happen this year, but you'll use your wisdom to keep those fights short and brief and within your control, making it easy for the both of you. Single Aries may find themselves in the midst of new relationships. If you're in a toxic relationship, Jupiter will give a chance to mend ways or part and look for another. You would figure that you don't need band-aids, you just need to move to someone better. So new beginnings as well in the romance department for Aries people. The other problem with Jupiter in third is being forced to do something that is against your principles or ideology, and that's where the suffering can get a bit intense. But you'll have to outsmart the difficult disposition that you might find yourself in and try to wriggle yourself out of that situation, even if it means doing it in an unlawful way, or should I say, by taking matters into your own hands just to save yourself or not let things spiral out of control. Because third is the Marana Karkasthana of Jupiter, and it can be very frustrating for Jupiter in this position. Another possibility is that there are chances of being cheated or scammed or conned in relationships or in financial matters, and that's one thing that you need to look out for. There's every chance of losing your money, and you would have to fight to get it back, and this is where you need to be extremely cautious right now, especially in the wake of so many cyber crimes happening, including digital arrest. Don't fall prey to easy money, guys. Money never comes easily. Instead, concentrate on devotion towards knowledge or engaging yourself in charitable deeds. If you're someone who has a unique skill, giving a yogdan or transferring that knowledge to someone for free without charging them, would remove any negative impact of Jupiter due to its position in the third house. That's my only remedy for third house transit Jupiter if you're struggling to make a mark in education or take a tough call on what to study or how to take it further and seem indecisive during Jupiter's transit in Gemini, then wait for Jupiter to change sign and move to Cancer. That's when things will start to fall in place. That's all I've got for Aries folks. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family, also leave a comment and tell me how things are going for you with Jupiter in the third house. And if you need a paid consultation, please drop an email. And up next we have Taurus ascendants or Taurus moon sign. So for Taurus folks, Jupiter goes to your second house and he rules your 8th and 11th houses. So Jupiter is basically a functionally malefic planet, but he's very good with regards to building a strong network circle and giving you lots and lots of money. So let's see what Jupiter is cooking for Taurus. Jupiter in the second house would now give you good eating habits. It's changing your food habits for good, change in diet, change in your routine because of its aspect on the sixth house. And of course, that could bother you a bit, but you would eventually see the benefit of a changed lifestyle. Jupiter's aspect on the sixth house is very powerful in fighting chronic illness, diseases, of course. And there's going to be some follow-up that you would have to do with regards to your health, but with a changed diet and prescribed path to fitness, definitive good health is on the cards for Taurus people because it is aspecting its own sign, Sagittarius, which is the 8th house. So longevity concerns anyone? Set it aside. Much of the difficult phase and tough health situations are going to be over for Taurus people, provided you follow a planned path towards reaching that fitness goal of yours. Scheming enemies against you would suddenly disappear and you would be wondering what really happened there. Your enemies could withdraw their case if you're fighting one in a court of law, and that's going to be in your favor. The negative side is getting rid of some material possession that you had saved for a long time, and you would probably have to let that go right now in order to see better prospects from an individual perspective. You could call it negative, but the equation still stands on the profitable side for Taurus people. Some of you could also see bad news within the family, death and mourning, which brings some amount of depression for everyone. But there's also going to be good news within the family. What does this mean? There's a possibility of a child being born or new additions. Yes, double bonanzas are possible. There's going to be celebration and happiness and joy. So don't let the bad times ruin your good times. There's also going to be lots and lots of buying, lots of material possession that you're going to own because of Jupiter's placement in the second house. You could gain money through inheritance at this time or pass on your inherited wealth to your children, grandchildren. Gifting deeds are possible for Taurus folks. Wonderful time for that because Jupiter is, after all, in the sign of Gemini, which is scripting something like a will. Some of you may, however, choose to dispose of a property or piece of land that might be in, and that might be um, in order to get rid of debt or at least see a partial closure of the debt that you've been facing some time. And that's going to take away a lot of burden from your shoulder. As far as career goes, because of Jupiter's aspect on the 10th house of Aquarius, remember what I mentioned in my introduction. This is one aspect where everyone would stand benefited according to me. So here, you're going to find a lot of challenging situations at work this year. There's going to be progress at work. Your bosses are not only going to be supportive, but also give you something, they're going to give you something exciting. Now, what could that be? I don't know. Maybe a paid vacation or days off from work or giving you control over a business unit or even a promotion or working with the team of people that you always wanted to work with. So you're going to get that comfort at your workplace. There could also be work related to travel or even travel for the purpose of visiting religious places of worship this year. Your friends and family are going to be very supportive. You'd get whatever assistance you wanted from them. Overall, Jupiter in the second house for Taurus people is fantabulous and it's only going to get better. But because it's functionally malefic, this year will not be without its share of challenges and obstacles which you would have to overcome. And that's all I've got for Taurus people. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family. Also leave a comment and tell me how things are going for you with Jupiter in the second house. If you want a paid consultation, do drop an email. Next up we have Gemini ascendants or Gemini moon sign. Alright, for Gemini folks, Jupiter moves to your first house and it rules your 10th house as well as your 7th house. And here, Jupiter in the first house is probably one of the most desired positions and also probably the most envied position because Jupiter here gives directional strength. It gives an abundance of fortune, good luck, plenty of wisdom, and definitely a desire to work on one's own self, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. So Jupiter tries to find an ideal state of being in one's chart when it is positioned in the first house. But the downside of Jupiter being in the first house is that it can make you put on a lot of weight, you know. And Jupiter's aspect on the fifth house, being a karaka for children, means there's a possibility of conception for those who are trying to conceive. But remember to tone down before you plan on pregnancy. And this goes for all the women out there trying to conceive because more weight gain is associated with a lot of diseases. You could experience breathlessness, getting tired trying to climb even 2 flights of stairs, or it could even give you some amount of struggle to your feet, especially because Saturn is now in the sign of Pisces, in Jupiter's house, and weight gain could lead to problems in the feet area, problem in balance, trouble walking, or knee and feet issues, and that's something that you need to watch out for. Be careful because most doctors will not advise medication when you're pregnant and painkillers are out of the question. Also, for single Geminis, Jupiter's aspect on the 5th and 7th houses will ignite your interest in getting married. If you're already in a relationship and not married, some of you will find something secretive about your potential partner and finally feel relieved that you did not go ahead with this person. That could happen. So Jupiter is going to help you course correct or find the right path towards carving a good life which you absolutely deserve. Many of you will attract partners who are very philosophical by nature, who has an excellent exposure to ancient wisdom, who is responsible by nature, and that is your clue to finding your ideal partner, especially now. For married people, it could also help you work on your marriage and tie those loose ends if you have been having a rough patch in your married life. Jupiter aspecting the 5th house also means interest in arts and crafts. You're going to keep yourself engaged in these sort of things and also increase your interest in education. Students are going to have an excellent time. You're going to fare very well in your exams and projects, all thanks to Jupiter's aspect on the 5th house and also the 9th house. The 9th house. Education is going to be one of the most focused areas for Gemini people, especially after May, because Rahu will be in the sign of Aquarius, his own place, and his usual problem of being positioned in the 9th and facing the Maranakaraka is going to be reduced to a great extent because of Jupiter's aspect on the 9th house, on Rahu. Nonetheless, problems and challenges related to the 9th house will be inevitable. Jupiter's aspect on the 9th will also strengthen the resolve of your father or give him more strength to fight against difficult times. So as a remedy, you could now donate to orphanages or donate study material to little children who cannot afford to study, and that will definitely bring relief to all problems related to the 5th as well as the 9th house. And that's all I've got for Gemini folks. If you liked what you heard, please give a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family. Also, if you need a paid consultation, please drop an email. I'll look into it. And let's move on to the next sign, which is Cancer Ascendant or Cancer Moon sign. Alright, for Moon children, Jupiter goes to the 12th house. And he rules your 6th house as well as your 9th house. And whenever Jupiter goes to the 12th, there's going to be a huge expense coming your way. And you knew this was happening. You knew this was coming. This could easily be for the purpose of increasing your fortune, substantial fortune. It could be for buying a house or renovating your existing property. buying and selling of property, buying a new luxury vehicle, or even as simple as performing a large scale religious ceremony like a homa or throwing a birthday party. Anything that is auspicious because of Jupiter's fifth aspect on your fourth house. Also, 12th house is foreign lands. And when Jupiter goes here, there could be expenses connected to long distance travel, relocation, and moving places, or even ending up in a foreign country. Nonetheless, huge expenses coming your way, but yeah, you will face a few hurdles in this regard before you can actually see progress. But definitive prospects of good fortune coming your way. So, long story short, you're going to be spending money on something auspicious this year, so you better gear up for this. Why? Because those expenses are going to be more than what you can cough up on a monthly basis. Your expenses are going to be way more than what you earn, which calls for help from financial institutions or secure loans from banks because of Jupiter's aspect on the sixth house, strengthening Jupiter's resolve in giving you that loan. So some amount of debt is also on the cards for Cancer ascendants or Cancer moon sign. As far as workplace goes, Jupiter is a signifier of leaders or bosses in one's chart, and when Jupiter goes to the 12th house, you may not get the support of your bosses. There may not be peace of mind at work. Your stress levels are bound to go up. Your routines are going to get out of whack. Those who are into gambling or trading in the stock market better not do it this year, as this will only give you more losses than gains. Also, the negative expenses that might now come your way, and these are going to be very sudden, and that includes money being lost to scamsters, liars, cheaters, money being spent on hospitalization, money spent on a disease that's growing in intensity. So the first 2 or 3 months of this transit, you need to be extremely cautious about financial transactions. Jupiter's ninth aspect on the 8th house will give you a natural inclination to know your destiny, to know how things are going to go forward. Your interest in astrology and the karmic effects of cause and effect are going to increase. You will find yourself engrossed in topics related to karma, topics related to astrology, and also philosophy as well. So Jupiter is setting the stage for you to benefit on a long-term basis. So this year is definitely good, but it does have its challenges. So if you tread carefully, those challenges can be completely avoided. One of the remedies for 12th house Jupiter is not to dream big. Yes, you heard it. Don't dream things you cannot manage at a later date. Jupiter will help you in achieving those dreams, but you will have to go through a difficult phase once the transit is over. So tread carefully, keep your expenses as modest as possible, spend only on requirement and not on things just because it is apparently possible for you to do it. Jupiter wants something big, but it can give you trouble once the transit is over. I have seen plenty of charts where they've kind of taken a big step into something, forayed into another business, and then some more, and before they know it, they're neck deep in debt. If you cannot handle too many things, better not step into too many things. Don't try something that is beyond your capacity. Okay, and that's all I've got for Cancer, folks. If you like this video, please share this with your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up, and also if you need a consultation, do drop an email. Next up, we have Leo ascendants or Leo moon sign. So for Leo, Jupiter goes to your 11th house, and he is your 5th and 8th lord. Absolutely positive transit. This is a period where your enemies are going to surrender. You will not have as much trouble or even competition from your peers or colleagues at work. People are going to be a lot more friendly, and your network circle is going to expand during Jupiter's stay in Gemini. If you've been facing problems within the family, then that's going away. If you've been struggling with some chronic illness or difficult disease, then that's also going to miraculously disappear. Your financial health is definitely bound to improve because Jupiter is now in an Upacha house, and the older you are, the better your financial health is going to be. Your name, fame, status, your influence on other people are all going to be fantastic this year. If you are someone working on a specific project, probably you haven't been able to get people's assent or get your boss's nod, then this year will work perfectly in fulfilling those dreams and getting people to agree to what you have to say. Your leadership skills are going to be top notch. So, this is one of the best years for you to persuade people to agree on your style of working on your terms. Jupiter's aspect on the third house, on your third house, will give you a Midas touch. Whatever you touch will turn to gold. Your efforts will fructify faster than you expect, and you will see success in every field that you venture into. Good year to negotiate for a higher paycheck as well. But then you may not have to do that because your bosses will be more than happy to promote you or give you a raise even before you ask for it. If you're planning on switching jobs, you could do that as well, but you're mostly going to remain content with what you have because of Ketu's overarching influence in the first house. But nonetheless, it is your time to bask in the glory, so enjoy this year. Coming to Jupiter's seventh aspect on your fifth house. Here, Jupiter is strengthening your prosperity. You could expect an addition to the family, maybe a newborn or marriage prospects as well, because Jupiter is also aspecting the seventh house of Aquarius through its ninth aspect. So, marriage, children are all possibilities for Leo ascendants, Leo moon sign. Now, the negative side of this transit means losing money due to scamsters, liars, and cheaters. And this is the third zodiac sign that I'm making this prediction for. Remember, forewarned is forearmed. You don't want to lose your hard earned money. Some of you will make a lot of money through the stock market, probably investment, but also through trades. You could now make sudden gains through the stock or through gambling, but don't rush into trading just because I'm telling you to, unless you have the knowledge and the know-how of how trades work. Don't do it. But if you're a seasoned gambler, then there's every chance of making a quick buck and you're gonna enjoy doing this. Leos will also find the support of your family. You will enjoy a cordial relationship with your spouse and children. So as far as Jupiter transit goes, Leos are going to have a good time this year. And that's all I've got for Leos. If you like this video, please share this with your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up. And if you need a consultation, do drop an email. Next up we have Virgo ascendants or Virgo moon sign. For Virgos, Jupiter moves to your 10th house in the sign of Gemini, and he is your 4th lord as well as your 7th lord. So usually Jupiter in the 10th is never really a good position because this is the position for administration. So Sun does well here, Mars could do very good, but Jupiter is mostly an advisor, and you could now find yourself in a role where you are now required to issue advisory. You could see a change in your role at your work where you become a consultant or someone who is knowledgeable about the rules and regulations that govern your area of work. Which means to say that if you find yourself in a position of authority rather than a consultant, then you really need to tone down your communication style, or better yet, make it sound like it's not coming from you. It is the voice of a larger whole. Make it sound like that. Make it sound like it's coming from a larger body of people or organization. But if you take matters into your own hands and act like a smartass, there's every chance of getting into trouble. However, Jupiter's arrival in your 10th house will give you comfortable earnings, especially earnings from the confines of your home, or where you have a desk job rather than a field-based job. Many of you will make money through commission-based jobs, contractual jobs. There's definitely new job opportunities opening up for almost all Virgos to explore, and you're going to have so much fun in turning those opportunities into cash cows. The commission, however, may seem restricted because of Saturn's entry in Pisces, but nonetheless you will still see some amount of good income this year. Since Jupiter is your seventh lord going into your 10th house, it could inspire you to become an entrepreneur. You could now start a new business, new joint venture. But better do this after mid-June 2025. Very good for those who are starting a business. Jupiter also will give you good name and fame, also status, and a chance to work for someone who inspires you. If you are in an organized sector working in a hierarchical position, you can expect a change in the chair of your boss. You could see a new boss who would absolutely be supportive and definitely have good leadership abilities. Whatever you do, it's important now to stay humble throughout this year, even when Jupiter moves to the sign of Cancer in October, November. It's still advisable that you carry on your job with the same humility that you carried on when it was in Gemini, because Jupiter will most certainly go retrograde in the sign of Gemini in December. Very good chances of promotion, pay hike for Virgo natives. Jupiter's fifth aspect on the second house. Now, this is going to be beneficial for your family. It's going to be beneficial for your comfort. You will find the support of your spouse and children. There could be new additions to the family. You could also see an increase in the possessions this year. You could also end up saving a significant portion of money for a rainy day. Great time for long-term investments. Jupiter's seventh aspect on the fourth house means it is strengthening your fourth house, which means you could now buy a new house because Jupiter is your seventh lord. He's aspecting your fourth house of land and property. So here you could be signing a deed to secure landed property. It could also mean getting into a rental agreement or a lease agreement. So chances of moving into a new house or chances of people moving into your home where you get rental income. But be very careful when doing this as Jupiter transits through the nakshatra of Mrigashira up until mid-June 2025, where you could get conned or lose money, and you wouldn't want that to happen. Be very careful. Jupiter's aspect on the fourth house also means prosperity for mother, new job opportunities, or a raise in salary for your mother, which is now possible. Jupiter's aspect, ninth aspect on your sixth house, that would now give you great information about all the disease and problems that are plaguing you, and you will get a solution for all those issues. If you're looking for a doctor's consultation, you might now get excellent advice from a good doctor in curing your illness, or at least help you manage that problem for the long term. So this is one area of life where things are going to look ultra positive throughout this transit. And that is all I've got for Virgos. If you like this video, please share this with your friends and family. If you need a paid consultation, do drop an email. And also, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe below. And let's move on to the next sign, which is Libra ascendant or Libra moon sign. Alright, for Libra ascendant or Libra moon sign, Jupiter transits to your ninth house and he rules your third and sixth houses. And ninth house is the house of fortune, house of religion, philosophy, and also long distance travel. So when Jupiter goes here, Jupiter gives very good results here. Many of your wishes will get fulfilled and your efforts get its due reward, because Jupiter is also aspecting the third house and strengthening its own resolve to succeed in its efforts. That's one good thing. Even though it rules two difficult houses for Libra natives, even though it rules the third and sixth house, the third house becomes a lot easier and flexible because it is being aspected by its own lord, Jupiter. It cannot harm its own house. At least in theory, it is supposed to be doing good. There's not much for you to worry as far as your third house goes, which among other things translates to comfort in your journeys and profit in your journeys. The difficult part of this transit, not necessarily negative, but difficult, would be where you are forced to change your ideology, your previously held beliefs will now go through a lot of testing, and you will understand that dharma means different things to different people, and you need to be a little bit more flexible in those principles. Your ideology will now get its due share of challenges. Some of you will have to change your ways in order to see better prosperity. You will be forced to be more accommodative and flexible in your principles. You will get advice on how to improve your fortune. Ways and means will be communicated to you by fatherly figures, mentors, teachers, but you will also question their ideology or simply ignore them or convince yourself that that is outdated and no more relevant in light of new information and due to the fact that certain things don't apply in the modern world. Some of you will also feel that the mainstream religion is cut off from what's really stated in the ancient texts. You're not living the same code of life, and therefore you would feel that you need to change. But since Jupiter is in a dual sign, you will no doubt be dual-minded about your ideologies. Okay, off to other things. The best part is that even though Jupiter is your sixth lord, even though it might give you challenges in the beginning in realizing your dreams, remember, because Jupiter is strengthening your third house, if your efforts are in the right direction, by which I mean if you have substantial debt, and Jupiter being the sixth lord will now help you in bringing a closure or at least part closure to your debt, and also bring relief to any chronic illness, both physical as well as mental. If you've been feeling restless, that could now go away during Jupiter's transit, but remember, Saturn in the sign of Pisces will definitely restrict the powers of Jupiter to do any kind of harm. Why? Because Saturn is a yoga karaka, and in the sixth house he is very powerful, and it only adds to the beneficence of Jupiter, because not only is Jupiter and Saturn are in mutual kendras, but also because the fifth and sixth lord are in mutual kendras, which gives rise to fantastic yogas. You could now get a fan following this year. A lot of people will now come to you to seek advice on life matters, and you will now be an excellent coach or advisor. So those who are into advisory roles in your job or profession, who are into consultancy, especially lawyers, doctors, people in the service industry, all stand benefited by the transit of Jupiter. There is a possibility of a childbirth for Libra natives, or at least conception, because ninth is the Bhavat Bhavam of the fifth house. It is the Bhavat Bhavam of the fifth house, and also because Jupiter's most benefic aspect is going to be on the fifth house of the Aquarius sign, which I have covered in the introduction. So definitive prosperity, both materially as well as spiritually. Jupiter's ninth aspect on the fifth house also indicates growing your material possessions, investments for the long term in the stock market. Not really sure about trades, although it is quite possible for you to make money out of trade because the aspect on Aquarius is beneficial. I would still advise you to tread with caution if you're not a seasoned gambler. Now, the negative side of this transit is that Jupiter's entry in the sign of Gemini in your ninth house does not augur well for your father. There could be difficult diseases or very challenging times, and that could bring you some tension. But praying to Jupiter directly can ease those difficult situations and bring a cure even to your father. As far as family goes, family relationship goes, there's going to be cordial relationship within all members of the family, especially spouse and children. People expecting to get married can expect a reasonably good alliance this year, and of course the transit into the sign of Cancer will happen sometime in October, but still Jupiter will retrograde to the sign of Gemini, and that's when possibilities open up even further, especially marriage prospects. So do not worry if you don't find your ideal partner immediately during Jupiter's transit. Overall, the time looks really good for Libras. Expect some problems to your gurus and father. Another word of caution is don't lose your fortune or money to scamsters or cheaters and liars. You need to be careful at least for the first 2 months of Jupiter's transit. Otherwise, you will have to engage in needless quarrel or legal battles to get back your money. You don't want that. Alright, that's all I've got for Libras. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe below. Also, share this video with your friends and family. If you need a consultation, please drop an email. I'll look into it. Comments do matter. I read every one of them, even though I may not reply to each and every one of those comments. But, feel free to leave a comment. Alright, next up we have Scorpio ascendants or Scorpio moon sign. So for Scorpios, Jupiter makes its transit into your 8th house, and he rules your 2nd and 5th houses. But Jupiter being a benefic planet for you means the transit is going to be a mixed bag of events, even though the 8th house is negative. The good side is that you may now get money in the most unexpected ways. There could be money gained through gambling, through the stock market. You could gain money through inheritance. Insurance money could also come to you now. But since this house is negative, it means that when you're getting this money, it is because you've lost something. This is true because Jupiter aspects your 12th house. Huge expenses coming your way. Your expenses are going to be so high that you're not in a position to save money. You need to be extra careful while driving. If you're not careful, accidents could happen this year. There could be damage to your vehicle or your possessions, but you would make up to it through insurance money or through some other means like a compensation for the goods lost. But still, it's going to give you some amount of mental agitation. You would feel the frustration. There could be fears and mental anxiety, but praying to Jupiter directly will ease those tensions. Jupiter in the 8th house, aspecting your 2nd house, could bring trouble in your relationship within the family. But no harm will be done because it is aspecting its own sign. Here, Jupiter is mostly going to be neutral. Jupiter's aspect on your 4th house is where things are going to be somewhat better. Here it indicates moving places. You could change homes, move to a different place. Transfer in your job is possible. So when you add up the equation, what you need to be careful about this year is that if you get to relocate to a different place, then make sure that you find the right movers and packers to do the job for you. At least up until mid-June, there's chances of being conned or scammed. So better not risk that. Even otherwise, take out an insurance for all your possessions which you plan to move. This will come really handy. You could lose something during transit, or the team that moves your possessions could mess things up, and you don't want that. Be very cautious about your possessions and supervise wherever you can. Okay, so Jupiter 8th house could also give trouble to you at work. You would probably end up doing the same work again and again because you missed out on some detail. That could happen. Or you could be misled by a team of people who have gone rogue and they would want your help. So don't get into things that are unethical or even secretive for the sake of making a quick buck, as that could have far-reaching consequences. The transit will also prompt you towards religious and spiritual deeds. Your interest and knowledge in understanding the philosophy of cause and effect, including astrology, could now increase in intensity. At the end of this transit, you may have issues with your heart muscles. You could have issues with your lungs. So ensure that you're exercising regularly and you're not in bad shape. The best part of this transit is that you will see your in-laws prosper in leaps and bounds. Hope that doesn't make you jealous. If anything, you've got to be happy for any member of the family or our extended family. Your joint assets with your spouse will also see large gains. Best remedy is to do anonymous donations to non-profit organizations or even medical institutions which deal with terminally ill patients. Alright, that's all I've got for Scorpios. Please share this video with your friends and family. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe below. If you feel that you've been forewarned about any impending problems, do give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you need a paid consultation, do drop an email. Next up, we have Sagittarius ascendants or Sagittarius moon sign. So for Sagittarius, Jupiter goes to your seventh house and he rules your first and fourth houses. So what happens when Jupiter goes to the seventh? Life happens. You could now get married. If you are already married, there could be adventure and desire for one another in your relationship. You could get favors from the government. You will meet people with high status in society. You will get their support. Your respect and command in the society will go up. Your health will see major improvements. Work wise, you will see good profits this year. Some of you could get a promotion, get a hike in salary. You could now see new prospects of starting a business, starting something maybe not innovative, but something that brings comfort. Think about businesses that cater to enhancing people's level of comfort. That could now work in your favor. Whatever it is, whether it's business or working in the organized sector, this year will bring a lot of adventure and excitement in your work. You would love to get up in the morning and go to work. You will find the support of your bosses. Jupiter's fifth aspect on your 11th house will bring a known friend into your life. Probably as a partner this time. Maybe he's got a proposal, he or she has got a proposal. You could see your long gone friend from your school or college who would now come to you to do business. That's possible. 11th house also will help you increase your network circle. You could see yourself becoming popular, probably a well sought out person for any kind of advice related to work or profession. Jupiter's aspect on your Lagna will bring immense amount of well-being and also forestall any decision that has a life-changing impact on you and your spouse. And I have to say this because Jupiter is your fourth lord going into your seventh house. It can make you very self-centered and think only about yourself. So if you find yourself in conflict with your spouse and your business partner on life-changing matters, say you want to build a house and also invest money for business, you don't know what to do, then listen to your spouse. Spouse is the one who guides us in teamwork on how to and how to progress in relationship meaningfully. Wisdom and knowledge are going to be the foundation of your relationship this year. You're going to be religious, kind, and charitable. Your spouse can now bring a remedy to many, many issues that you have. Don't do anything without their consent. He or she is the only cure you need during this year. Fourth Lord Jupiter going into the seventh house will bring happiness and joy in your relationship. There's going to be so much to look forward to. Also, since the first lord is going to the seventh house in a dual sign, there's every chance of moving to a foreign country for Sagittarius Lagna or Sagittarius moon sign. It's quite possible because first and seventh houses are one of the travel houses in astrology. And since Jupiter is also going to be aspecting the third house through its most beneficial aspect, excellent chance of moving abroad or even moving close to your siblings. You could also buy a house in a foreign country now. Travels are definitely going to become a routine part of your life come this transit, but then Rahu is also going to be in the third house, and that means if you choose to move abroad, be ready to face a lot of problems in the beginning. If in your birth chart there are malefics in the seventh house like Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, then this could bring a cure to an illness that you or your spouse have got, but only after some suffering. And you or your spouse may have to go through surgery and then some downtime before you are back on your feet. But if you have benefic planets, you will have a good time this year. And that's a wrap on Sagittarius. If you like this video, please share this with your friends and family. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe below. If you want a consultation, then do drop an email. I will be happy to look into it. And next up, we have Capricorn Ascendants or Capricorn Moon sign. Okay, for Capricorn folks, Jupiter goes to your 6th house and he rules your 3rd house as well as your 12th house. And both houses are related to travel. The 6th house is related to routine, your everyday life, your financial debt, your health. And when Jupiter is here, he's not very happy. He's constantly in a mode of fighting against the odds. Usually, transit Jupiter in 6th will give rise to diseases. It will give you mental anxiety, but then, being the 12th Lord, he could also give you a way to escape from the mundane aspects of life. Remember, Jupiter is strengthening its own 12th house through its 7th aspect from the 6th house. So he could bring challenges here, but he cannot bring harm to this house. You could now find yourself falling asleep most of the time or trying to forget the difficult phase that you're in. Whatever your escape mode is, you will choose that to keep plodding forward. I'm not saying you would have to meditate to feel better. You could do that, but then you could also do something that takes your mind off of the difficult times and find peace, like watch TV, get lost in fantasy, get lost in otherworldly matters, miracles. All of this will bring comfort to your mind. So basically, you would be in a position where you wouldn't want to be reminded of the hardships of life, but being the third lord, you will put all your efforts in your daily life to fight against those odds silently without complaining, and also in the hope that things will one day turn out well. Sixth house Jupiter also means that you could now get into financial debt willingly, of course. Secure loans are now possible, maybe due to rise in expenses. Especially medical expenses is something you should be aware of. If you don't have a medical insurance for you or members of your family, better get one, because Jupiter also is going to aspect the second house through its 9th aspect. There's some correction happening here, and that's mostly beneficial, but it also means there's going to be a rise in expense. It could also mean that you're increasing your possessions, like a capital asset, maybe something not necessary, but you want it, and then you end up taking a loan and start paying it back in EMIs. If you could avoid it, do so. Jupiter's 5th aspect on the house of profession, which is your 10th house, Libra sign. Here, work-wise, you will have plenty of problem solving to do. You will be one of the most sought after person to help with official work where there are problems. You could also be legally representing your organization now. People in the consultancy area will do exceptionally well. You could also be traveling abroad. Frequent travels to distant places are on the cards for Capricorn folks, and the only thing that's possibly in your mind is the expenses and what to do about it. Maybe that's something that you need to forget for the time being and focus on other important areas that needs your effort. And debt is something that you will be able to get rid of only over a period of time. So stop worrying about it. You could also feel responsible about your spiritual growth. Maybe you feel you're not doing enough. This is a chance for you to change that and see some progress in that area as well. But most definitely, the heat will be felt within the family, and if you're not careful about it, things could fall apart at home. Be very careful, because not only is Rahu in the second house, but also Jupiter as the Lord of the 12th is aspecting your second house. Of course, this is beneficial aspect as far as Jupiter goes, but then something's changing within the family and you better get it sorted out. You have to now work on your family life, your values, all that is going through a storm, and you need to bear that storm patiently and see through it. Alright, that's all for Capricorn folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Also share this video with your friends and family. If you need a consultation, please drop an email. Next up we have Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius Moon sign. Alright, for Aquarius, Jupiter goes into your 5th house and he rules your 2nd house as well as your 11th house. 5th house is the house of your past life deeds, and whenever Jupiter goes here, Jupiter will bring an end to all the difficult times that you faced last year when Jupiter was in your 4th house, right? Especially for Moon sign Aquarius. Jupiter now is ready to give you immense prosperity, name, fame, and also a desire to enjoy a good life. So here, because of Jupiter's aspect on the 1st house, and also because of Rahu there, those of you who are single would now have the desire to get married. But then, because of Ketu in the seventh house, the irony, you could now face conflicting situation in moving ahead in that area of life. Maybe you're searching for a partner at the wrong time. You probably did not have the desire till now, but when you're ready for marriage, the other person is not so ready. What a bummer, right? But praying to Lord Ganesha can cause those obstacles to be removed. Moving forward to financial prosperity, you could now see some real progress this year, and with that, you could now buy landed property, buy a house, renovate your existing home, buy anything that gives you status like a luxury vehicle, or move into a brand new home. All of this is possible. Jupiter is aspecting the um, 11th house, your 11th house, through its 7th aspect, will give you the support of your friends, colleagues, and even your boss at work. You're going to move with good company and find yourself very cheerful for most part of this transit. You may also now get a promotion or a raise in salary because 11th house is also the house of income. So definitive prosperity in your income. You could get a bonus, or you could now generate an additional stream of income because Jupiter is transiting in a dual sign, and it is also aspecting a dual sign. It is therefore strengthening your 11th house like never before. Now, even though Jupiter is not aspected by Saturn, it is still in Jupiter's house, bringing some restriction. You could therefore find a cap on your income. You probably won't be able to break the glass ceiling, but you will be among the well-paid lot of employees in the industry that you're in. Some of your wishes will come true this year. Conception or birth of a child is possible during this transit of Jupiter. So those who are trying for pregnancy, this is one of the most auspicious time. And imagine child being born with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer next year. That is an exalted Jupiter in the birth chart of your child, which is in itself a great blessing of your forefathers. Speaking of which, your parents will generally see very good health during Jupiter's transit in the fifth house. Fifth house is also the Bhavat Bhavam of the ninth house, which means travel will yield very good results. You will profit from any kind of travel, not just business, but also for personal pleasure or recreation. So all good things are bound to happen, and you're going to be feeling pretty lucky and blessed to be having a great time with the blessings of your forefathers. So enjoy this time, Aquarius. And the first house is something interesting for Aquarius this year. Rahu will most likely give you an inclination to gamble or engage yourself in the stock market or try to make quick money. Luckily, Jupiter's ninth aspect on the first house will keep your overly ambitious Rahu under check and may even reward you for those bold decisions that you're bound to take this year. On the educational front, many of you will be very adept in your respective field, whatever that might be, and you'll be one of the top ranking students in your class or university. This is going to be a very favorable transit for most students. Just make sure you're not burning too much, because Jupiter in the fifth and Rahu in the first can give you an inclination to enroll into more than one field of study. Or maybe you're not so decisive about what educational stream you must choose. It could be a bit too much for you to handle, but wait for Jupiter to move to the next sign. Okay? And that's all I've got for Aquarius, folks. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe below. Also, share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we have Pisces Ascendant or Pisces Moon sign. So for Pisces, folks, Jupiter rules your first house as well as your 10th house, and he goes to your 4th house. So here, firstly, Jupiter in the 4th could help you move into a new home. Maybe even buy a property or renovate your existing home, or even construct a house. Spend money in renovating your home. You could buy a vehicle as well. There's going to be something new that happens during this transit at home. Of course, you can expect this to happen when Jupiter goes retrograde as well. So you have a whole year for many good things to take place at home. First Lord going into the 4th also indicates travel to your homeland. Many of you will now either permanently return to your home station or make very frequent visits to your home station. But there's going to be some work to be done in dealing with your personal life at home or in getting those domestic affairs sorted out, and you're going to be pretty much be preoccupied with that throughout this transit. You will get the favor of your mother and maternal relations. If your mother has been facing any chronic illness, that will now get highlighted, and you would have to kind of work on that illness to solve that issue, or at least do whatever you can to help her manage that illness. But definitely something is brewing, and you're gonna have to work on that. Mother will see good health as soon as Jupiter makes its transit to the sign of Cancer. You would get a break from many of your fourth house related problems, sometimes even magically disappear when Jupiter moves to the Cancer sign. But when it goes retrograde, you would have to address those issues again. Maybe this time it's a new issue. You would come up with another problem that needs solving, and you would have to work on that. You will also get the favors of your friends and colleagues this year. But the best part is Jupiter's aspect on the 10th house. This will give you respect in your professional life. You may not get a promotion. It's going to set the stage for that promotion to happen, maybe next year. Right now, you will probably get something new to do. A new assignment maybe in the offing, and that's going to keep you very busy at work as well, because Jupiter is strengthening its own house, which is the 10th house, through its 7th aspect. And since it's sending those energies from a dual sign to another dual sign, you might now have two jobs to do. One would be your mainstream career, and the other could be a business or even a vocation that you will now begin. It's quite possible, but not necessary, that this should happen. But think about it from the perspective of the digital age, from the perspective of an immensely insecure economy and job insecurity looming everywhere. In my opinion, there will soon be many one-man businesses. Everybody's going to sell something, and that's how things are going to move forward. Jupiter will also give favors from the government and also financial institutions. So those working for the government or looking to do business with the government will see the beginning of a good relationship and good returns eventually. You will also be required to travel a lot this year. This year's transit is also very good for students. You would get financial and moral support for higher studies, but may not be a decisive year as far as what stream you need to choose. But otherwise, this transit generally favors your sign with regards to education. The negative side, however, is the rising expenses that you would have to cope with, especially because Rahu goes to your 12th house. And many of these expenses could be related to medical or spiritual or traveling abroad or going on a vacation. If you're coming from a wealthy background, just enjoy this transit. If you're not wealthy, then this might just be a bit of a stinger, and you would have to deal with it like everybody else, I guess. I suppose that concludes my take on Jupiter transit. Please share this video with your friends and family. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're new here, do subscribe below. And if you need a paid consultation, do drop an email. And I will see you guys again with another new video very soon.